What's up, guys? Coach Keith here to go through Friday's locked and loaded workout. I'm going to bring the whiteboard a little bit closer so you guys can see this. Obviously, if it's not clear or if you need to reference again, you can see this on the blog. For our warm-up, we've got 3 rounds of 16 tall plank toe taps, 8 alternating Samson lunges, 8 bottom half burpees, and 8 V-ups or tuck-ups. I'm going to go through each one of those movements for you right now. So, starting with those tall plank toe taps. So get yourself into the top of a push-up position, that tall plank position. Hands under the shoulders, elbows are locked. Squeezing the butt, squeezing the belly, finding that nice plank position, and we're going to tap. That's 1 rep, 2, 3. Trying to keep our hips in position, keep the shoulders nice and active, and the rest of the body is nice and tight. You're doing 16 of those alternating, so it ends up being 8 on each foot. Then we'll go to the 8 alternating Samson lunges. So this is 8 total reps, alternating legs. Starting with fingers interlocked, pressing up over the head. You can step forward, drop that knee down, hold for a second, try and think about pushing those hips slightly forward as you stay extended at the legs. Drive through that front heel to stand. If you're more comfortable, you can do a reverse lunge, stepping back, driving through that front foot, coming back to stand. We keep that overhead position locked out throughout. 8 reps there. Then we've got 8 bottom half burpees. So this will start chest on the deck. From here, you're going to pop yourself up. Try and get your hands close to your feet. If you want to pull the hands up, you can. But we're going to make sure we're in a hinge position here with the feet nice and flat. Hands go back to the floor. We jump out, back to the deck. Back up and back to the deck. We don't want to turn this into a squatty position. Okay, we want to keep it relatively hingy so that we're set up for later when we have to do our burpees, and try and make sure your feet are landing flat and not getting into some funky position like this where you're getting really loaded in your knees. Okay, 8 reps there, and then your 8 V-ups or tuck-ups. So I will do my best version of a V-up. It's not a good one, but we'll start from a hollow position. Legs will be straight. We'll try and meet up at the top, control back down, etc. Or you can go to a tuck up. Just make sure you can control that top position, and you're finishing in a hollow position at the bottom instead of collapsing to the floor as you come up. We've got 8 reps of that. We'll go through about 3 rounds. Okay, that's your warm-up. Then for your strength, we're looking at 3 by 8 to 12 single arm sumo deadlifts, supersetted with 3 by 6 to 10 half kneeling single arm press. So that means you'll do a set of deadlifts, set of press, deadlift, press, and that's each arm. Okay, so we'll go take a look at those real quick. For the sumo deadlift, that sumo position is going to be a little bit wider than our normal deadlift stance, right? So just outside your shoulders, probably a little wider than your squat stance. If you're more comfortable going even wider than that, you can. Anywhere in between is fine. Just make sure those knees can still track the toes throughout the movement pattern, all right? Other than that, just like a regular deadlift, slight bend in the knee, send the hips back, keeping that neutral spine. I'm going to reach with one hand. Make sure that kettlebell is in line with the feet and not way out in front. Okay, we'll look at that from the side in a second. Set my back, drive my feet through the floor, and then squeeze my butt to bring my hips through, lowering down the same way, sending the butt back, and then bending, finishing again in that straight line between my feet, even with my midline. So looking from the side, okay, that bell is in front of me. It's in between my feet and not out in front. Okay, I've got my wide stance, slight bend in the knee, belly's tight, send the hips back, bend the knees a little bit if I need to. Don't turn this into a squat. Keep a hinge position, keep that neutral spine, right? Push the feet down, squeeze, lower down the same way you came up, okay? We've got 8 to 12 reps on one side, 8 to 12 reps on the other, okay? Then we've got our single arm half kneeling press. So the leg that's forward is going to be opposite of the leg or the arm that's pressing. So right now I have my left leg forward in that lunge position. Pretty much got 90-degree angles at the knees and hips. Since my left leg is forward, I'm going to press with my right arm. So I'm in that front rack position, maintaining a good neutral position at the torso, pressing up, finishing elbow locked, bicep by the ear, that good overhead position, holding for a second, lowering down, holding for a second at the bottom. So I'm pressing up, 1 second, coming down, 1 second, right? So I'm maintaining control throughout, showing that good overhead position as well as that good front rack position, okay? Make sure the other arm is not on the body, right? It's out. We're not leaning on that other hand. We want to maintain that stability through our core and through our hips, okay? You've got 6 to 10 reps on each arm there. So 1 second pause at the bottom of the press, 1 second pause at the top. On the sumo deadlifts, we're going to be looking at a 3-second negative. So we'll add that back in, right? Think about our position. We're going to drive up. Once we hit the top, that descent is going to be 1, 2, 3. Reset on the ground, up. 1, 2, 3. So nice and slow and controlled on the way down on each rep there. You're doing 3 sets, 8 to 12 on the deadlifts, each arm, and then 6 to 10 on the press. That's each arm as well. Make sure you switch legs. Once you switch arms, again, the opposite leg should be forward. All right? That's our strength. And we're looking at our conditioning piece. We've got a regular 15-minute AMRAP today, straight through. 30 Russian kettlebell swings, 20 sit-ups, 10 burpees. All right? So 15 minutes is a relatively long time. And while this is an AMRAP, we want to try and go at a pace that we can maintain for most of the piece, right? So don't make your first round your fastest one. Find a moderate to moderate high pace that you can keep, and then if you feel like you still have it and you want to push it for those last 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, then you can start to ramp it up, right? But don't come too hot out of the gates. Try and stay nice and steady, and then at the end, give that little push if you have it or if you are in a place to go there today, okay? Looking at those movements, the Russian swings, we've got 30 reps. So again, that flat back position, as we hinge down, we're gonna hike that kettlebell up nice and tight to the body, extend the hips and the legs together, right? And my arms are just going along for the ride. Don't reverse curl the kettlebell into your face. Think about the kettlebell being socially distanced from you. You want it to end up in front of you and not being curled up in front of your face, okay? Flat back, this is again a hinge pattern, so this hip should go back, forward, 30 reps. Doesn't need to be unbroken. It might be possible depending on what weight you have, but maybe 2 sets makes a lot of sense here, okay? Then you've got your sit-ups. Now, most folks don't have an ab mat, so we're gonna talk about a sub for that in a second. But for your sit-ups, back flat on the floor, do whatever you need to with your arms and legs. You can have them bent, you can butterfly, you can have them straight. Just make sure that torso ends up perpendicular to the floor and you're sitting nice and tall and the shoulder blades get to the floor at the bottom. Now, if you feel more comfortable, especially without the ab mat, anchoring your feet to your weight. If you have 2 dumbbells, you can put your feet under. Either way, squeeze that weight with your feet, come back up. That's okay as well. Now, if you don't have an ab mat and you don't feel comfortable doing these sit-ups without it, we're gonna go with 20 bicycle crunches. All right, so find a hollow position. One leg's gonna be bent, one is straight. I'm gonna bring the opposite elbow towards that knee, and then as I switch, I'm kind of rotating. So the opposite elbow comes to the opposite knee. And again, we're doing 20 of those as opposed to 20 sit-ups. The sit-up should be nice and steady, pretty much going right through. If you're doing those bicycle crunches, you might have to break that up. That's okay, they'll be quicker, so you're gonna have that time to rest, okay? So 20 reps on that one. Then we got 10 regular burpees. So we warmed this up already. We're adding the top half now. So chest goes to deck, feet replace hands, flat, and then I jump from that position, opening my hips, hands over my head. Obviously, we can step in and out, especially if we're in a place where we can't jump, or I feel more comfortable with that, and we can also take that push-up out and just kind of go with that squat thrust or that no push-up burpee. There's 10 reps there, okay? that's it, guys. I will see you with Coach Katie at noon for that live class. Check out the schedule for all the other virtual classes we've got coming at you, and have fun with it.